everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're making one of the best fall soups, which is tomato soup. And this one's gonna be really easy because we're making it, yes, in the air fryer. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna prep all of our vegetables. Now, I have all of my vegetables washed. What we're gonna be using for this soup, we're gonna use tomatoes, a bell pepper. You can use either a yellow, red, or orange bell pepper, a sweet onion or Vidalia onion, some garlic, some shallots, and then also some fresh thyme. First thing you're gonna do is take your air fryer tray and line it with some parchment paper. You can either line it with an air fryer liner if you're interested in purchasing the one that I use. Click the link in the description below to see which one I purchased on Amazon. Or you can just line it with parchment paper. That just keeps it a little bit cleaner, keeps everything together. With my vegetables, I am just gonna make this really easy. I'm gonna take my tomato and I'm gonna cut it into quarters. And I'm gonna throw it back into the bowl because we're gonna season this before we put it in our air fryer tray. Take your onion, also cut it into quarters. We want all of the vegetables to be approximately the same size. With your onion, after cutting it into quarters, we're gonna take the slices apart and throw them back into the bowl. For the ratio of how much you want bell pepper to onion to shallot and garlic, it's really based on your preference. But I like to say for approximately 4, 5, 6 tomatoes, you want half a bell pepper, a whole onion that's about this size, or half of a large onion. And the shallots and garlic are just based on preference. So I would play it by ear, try out the recipe, see how much you want to include as you're cooking it. If you've watched my pumpkin soup recipe, I did put a Pyrex glass filled with my vegetables in the tray, and that just gives me a good proportion of how much I want to make. But I'm going to be making a lot of tomato soup for this one, so I'm just going to throw it straight into the tray. It really just depends on what you want to do. For our seasoning, I'm going to add in some olive oil. It's about 2-3 tablespoons. I'm also going to add some black pepper. Salt. We're going to add in some dried basil. It's about a tablespoon of the salt, the black pepper, and all the rest of these seasonings. Some garlic powder now. And I like to add a little bit of cayenne pepper, literally like a couple of dashes. Not too much, but it gives a nice flavor to the soup. It's not too spicy when it's blended with all these other spices and the vegetables. And now we're gonna mix this all together. Again, it doesn't have to be completely perfectly coated because this is all going in the same soup. It's all gonna get blended in the end. So we just wanna get it as even as possible with the seasoning. Now that all the vegetables are seasoned, we are going to throw them in the air fryer tray. I'm also gonna take my fresh thyme and just throw it right on top. And now we're gonna put this in our air fryer at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 minutes. That's gonna let it get nice and roasted and perfectly cooked for the soup. The perfect pairing to a tomato soup is obviously a grilled cheese. I'm gonna take some butter and put it into a non-stick pan, and we're gonna let this completely melt down. I have my pan heating on like low, medium heat right now. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below and also like this video while you're at it. So I have my butter melting in my pan. And this is sort of like a lazy grilled cheese. You could also throw it in the toaster, but there is nothing better for a grilled cheese than more butter on the bread. That's just my opinion. So I have some keto bread here. You can find this at any grocery store, just whichever keto bread is your favorite. And now that my butter is nice and melted, I am gonna take it and I am going to put the bread on the pan and we are going to toast it on one side. It's been about a minute. I am going to flip this bread over and we're gonna get the butter on the other side as well. I flipped my bread back over to the first side and now I'm gonna add my cheese. Now I like to use Colby Jack cheese as well as mozzarella cheese. You can really use whichever kind of cheese that you want. And I am just going to lay down my cheese like this. And I'm gonna cover it with the lid to let it get nice and melted. I'm now gonna take the side of toast that was on the pan because it's nice and toasted now, and I'm gonna put it on top of the cheese. I'm just gonna press down a bit and we're gonna flip this over. Let's cover it with the lid to let it completely melt. Our vegetables are finished in the air fryer. I'm just gonna take the thyme out because we don't need it anymore. All the flavors in the vegetables. And I'm gonna take our vegetables and put them into this pot right here. I wanna make sure I get all this juice as well, so I'm just gonna pour this into the pot. I just wanna show you guys how clean this air fryer tray is. I absolutely love those liners. They make everything so much easier to clean up. We are going to put this on the stove, but before we do that, I'm gonna add in 1 cup of chicken broth. And you can use your favorite chicken broth. I like to use this one by Kettle and Fire. This is the low sodium one because for this particular soup, I like to control how much salt I really have in the soup. I'm also gonna add in 1/4 cup of heavy cream. And I'm gonna take an immersion blender and we are gonna blend this all up. Now that our soup is blended, I am gonna put it on the stove and we are gonna bring it up to a simmer. Now, for the cream, I did put 1/4 cup of cream because I like my tomato soup a little bit on the creamier side. So if you don't want it as creamy or you don't want to add as much of the heavy cream, you can just add a little bit less, but I wouldn't add any more for this ratio. I'm covering it with the lid and we're gonna bring it up to a boil. Our soup is now simmering. I've lowered the temperature and I'm gonna add in a little bit of freshly grated Parmesan cheese. We're just gonna mix this into the soup. Let's bring this up to a simmer and then we're gonna let it simmer for about 1 minute and then turn it off and it's ready to eat. And here we are, our delicious roasted tomato soup with a grilled cheese. There is nothing more perfect on a nice chilly day. I cannot wait to dig in. Just take a look at this. It smells incredible, nice and cheesy, creamy tomato. I'm so ready for this taste test. Cheers, guys. Super delicious, flavorful, so easy. All it took was our air fryer and a little bit of simmer time and we get the perfect soup with a delicious grilled cheese. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Also hit that notification bell to never miss a tasty upload. Till next time.